Madness Podcast, the best of the underground. Make madness your ritual. Commit the flash. Decades behind. Commit the flash. Innocence blinded. I could never understand the sick inside your head. Who or what caused you all the trauma you possess? Please keep the veil on top, for we don't wish to see the despicable cycle file is the brain. Your hands, they feel. Your touch, it kills. Commit the flash. Decades behind. Commit the flash. Innocence blinded. How could you not feel the grief you have caused? We can see you go on with zero empathy. Pathetic man with the sweet tooth for adolescence. Keep up the pace, keep up your tongue. Call the narcissist. Your hands, they touch. They make fatal mistakes.
Yeah, what's going down? Hopefully you guys are having a good evening. Welcome. You're listening to Ritual Madness Podcast, or watching, or listening, or watching together even. What do you know about that? Hey, do me a favor, check out Lowbrow Saints Tattoo Collective. If you're looking to get some tattoo work done, give them a call, send them some pictures, tell them you want to have them draw some stuff up. lowbrowsaints@gmail.com or 612-353-4755. Give Jason and the folks down at Lowbrow Saints Tattoo Collective, give them a chance, give them a shot, get some good tattoo work from some good folks, and, enjoy that pain therapy. It's good stuff. Hope you're doing well. Like I said, it is Friday evening. It's been a couple weeks. Thank you for joining us. My guests tonight are the guys from, say the band name for me.
Solarend.
Okay. Just I have the greatest capabilities, right? To just fuck everything up just like that. Start it off, get you guys, like he said the name wrong. You know what I mean? So introduce yourselves. Tell the people what you do in the band and all that other stuff.
I'm Josh, and I do vocals.
Hi, Josh.
Hi.
And I'm Vince, and I do guitars.
And he's a merry Frenchman, just so you know. If you can't tell by his accent, he's a mighty Frenchman. Him and Gojira went to high school together.
You can tell I'm French by my accent.
Fantastic. Well, welcome, fellas. How has things been? Been a while. Now you guys are both from the band Kobaloi, right? That was the original project. Well, when we first had you guys on here before, right?
Yep. Back in, what was it, like 2014, 2015? Something like that.
Mm-hmm. Good long while.
Yeah.
You guys played a ton of shows down here, kind of all over the place here.
Yep.
And did fairly well. You guys had pretty good following. There's lots of people that showed you guys some love and support at the shows. I know you guys did well down here.
Yeah.
You guys are originally from Brainerd, correct?
Yep.
Well,
A bit further away from.
Well,
I'm originally from Omaha, but yeah, I'm here. So
transplanted to
transplant. Yep.
Yeah.
And where are you from?
In Paris.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So we're based in Brainerd.
Yeah.
And so Josh and I in Kobaloi. Our current bassist Adam was also in Kobaloi.
Right.
And then our current drummer now in the new band Solarend is Zach. That was originally from Pursuit.
Of Cash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now called Pursuit.
Yep.
And they changed that. They changed that all up, right? Pursuit now.
Yeah. It was Pursuit of Cash back then. And
Yep.
Now it's Pursuit.
Now, how long you guys have been jamming with Zach?
3 years.
3 years now.
Mm-hmm. Started in March of 2019.
2019. Now that's how that's how long this project has kind of been in the works and getting everything. I know before we got on the air, you guys were kind of telling me a little bit of the ups and downs of the band from the very beginning. Dude, the name of the first song that we played, what was the name of the song?
Drag.
Badass, by the way.
Thank
very
you.
cool. I can hear the flavors from all over the place. Zach adds a nice kind of hardcore punky feel to it with a good metal touch to it. Heard a lot of different influences in it. Sounded good.
Yep.
And then at the very end, that little piece right at the end where you just hit the brakes and it fucking break it down. 4 minutes is how long that song is.
Yeah.
That's an epic tune.
There's ideas in this whole album that we have that been written along the road with Zach.
Yeah.
But this one and a few others were ideas I had right when Kobaloi was over.
Yeah.
And I started writing demos, and of course Zach added his own flavor and Josh, and then we restructured some things in the song as we were playing together. But the core riff was an old idea I had right after Kobaloi.
Mm-hmm.
So that's actually a pretty old song.
That one was?
Yeah.
Drag?
Yeah.
Oh. I thought it was Beast of Obsession. That was first.
Don't even remember. Well, the Beast of Obsession.
I wasn't there when you guys were jamming it because that was work and stuff.
And the opening riff was an old idea.
Idea.
It was actually slower, and then of course with Zach you have to play faster.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I'm completely fine with.
Right.
So yeah.
And, well, I mean, your old drummer, I think, it is a far step from what Zach is capable of. I've seen Zach full on blast beat. That kid can throw down.
It's a different style, I would say, and Zach is more, I would say, personally as a guitarist, and I'm just speaking for myself, I feel more in phase with him.
Yeah.
Because this is more of what I'm looking for, and being an old guy, I'm 47, and I've been like playing music and learning myself, teaching myself to play guitar, just listening to thrash metal and like all this punky, heavy thrash, faster, double kick, blast beat stuff. That's part of my guitar playing. That's what I like to hear in a drummer. And Zach is way more than that, but he is really well into that. So yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty versatile, I'd say.
I feel a great alchemy with him, I would say. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
You say it was the best alchemy you've had since with your brother, playing with your brother.
Yeah. My brother is a badass drummer, but he's back in France.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome, man. So how did the idea come together of you guys putting something together after Kobaloi's kind of disbanded and
Well,
we just wanted to keep going.
yeah.
I needed a break personally, but then so did Adam, and then he didn't really stop.
Right.
So he just kept going.
Yeah.
And then we're just like, Zach said that he had been wanting to drum in a band with us for a while now.
Yeah.
And then he was available, and so he was
Yeah.
doing Pursuit and this one.
We didn't reach out to him right away because he was involved in Pursuit of Cash, and we didn't think that he wanted to be in two different bands at the same time.
Right. Like every other drummer in the in the state, pretty
Yeah.
much,
So
or guitar player, or bassist, or
or
And
bassist.
in Drew Blood's case, vocalists.
yeah,
But
yeah.
Josh and I go way back because when I moved in this country, I had a project like I'm just doing everything called Madcap High.
Yeah.
Which it's just a recording project, and when I was actually looking for a real band to play with, and that's how I met him. And when his current band was over, he said, "Well, why don't I just record vocals on your project just for fun?"
Yeah.
And that's how we started collaborating
Right.
together. And I think it was in
2013.
2000.
We met in 2011
Yeah.
with mine and Adam's old band from which they fell when you came and jammed Roots
Right,
like
right.
700 times.
So him and I go way back, and me and Adam too.
Yeah.
And when Kobaloi was over, I just told him right away, I'm not ready to stop playing music with you, so we need to do something
Right.
whenever you're ready for
Well,
it.
that's good, man. That camaraderie,
So-
pulled you through, especially after the whole, whatever went down with Kobaloi. You know what I mean? I know that it was one of those things where you had expressed it before that you were kind of burnt on that project, and kind of burnt on, being around the scene, and it just. I know that it's a tough situation when you don't want to give up, but you don't want to continue, pushing that project along. You know what I mean? It's a tough thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't that I wanted to stop. But,
Sure.
all
Right? Yeah.
that good stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, then you really got to start all over with the Solarend stuff. So was Adam part of the project from the beginning, or was he kind of, because I know he was doing some solo stuff or wanted to record some solo stuff, correct?
Well, if I remember correctly, I know we had talks with him right away, and he told us, you know what, guys, I kind of want to take a break and do my own thing whenever, do things on his own term.
Right.
Which complete respect for that. And then he joined us for a while, and he even had one of the songs called Inverse that we write with him, and he let us have it when he said, you know what, I don't really want to be in a band for
Right,
now.
right.
So he had to step out of the project Solarend.
Yeah.
So we kept going, wrote the whole album, tried out a few bassists with no luck. Had a session bassist, Matt from Agony Ring, that actually recorded bass for us for the album.
Yeah.
And then
The guy is a ridiculous guitar player, ridiculous bass player,
yeah.
a great photographer,
the kid is insanely
Yeah.
talented, and
Yeah.
like I mentioned before we go on the show, he really impressed me recording all the bass and do several takes for everything, and did a fantastic job doing it.
Now, musicians, I just want to point this out because these guys kind of hit me to what Matt did when he recorded the bass tracks for them. He basically sent you guys back 3 tracks of each track.
3 takes for each track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that to me says everybody who's been in this music scene for a little while has to up their game. This young cat's coming in, setting the bar a little higher.
Certainly raised the bar. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
man.
Yeah.
That's
I wasn't expecting that much work and so well done or so professional.
yeah.
Like we could literally pick which take was the best,
Yeah.
and just include it in our mix and use that, and that was just perfect.
Right. Now you also mentioned through this whole process. Now, let me back up a little bit. So, with the whole pandemic and everything. Now, did you guys have this project ready to go before the pandemic hit? So you were still you were just creating at that time, or
We were still in the process of writing,
yeah,
and we were still in the process of finding the fourth member because
Right.
the pandemic hit after Adam left the band.
Yeah. That was because Adam left the band. That's why.
Thanks.
That's
thanks,
what it was.
Thanks, Adam.
Yeah.
But
It was that Viking plague he released on everybody.
that was the curse of the Viking.
Yep.
I figured it was either
They
that
thought
or,
it was the Asian folks. It wasn't. It was the Viking dude. He's like, I quit. Just thunderous.
it's either him or cattle decapitation with their Bring Back the Plague song.
There it is, right there, dude. Whoa. It's maybe it was the star aligned, moon aligned type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
But that's another big
That's
setback
ridiculous.
we had because we were trying to break in a new bassist that was trying to join us, and we didn't know how bad this pandemic was going to be, just like
Yeah.
everyone else. And
Yeah.
when they started to say, you guys need to stay away from each other,
Yeah.
for a while we didn't know if we could even get together to practice.
Right.
And so we tried to keep going, sending, like I started writing tabs, like MIDI tabs for the bass, and,
Yeah.
and recording my guitar at home to just send that to the
So
new
you were
guy,
fucking preparing.
and just trying to keep things going,
Yeah.
even if we were not getting together,
Yeah.
like doing backing tracks for the drummer and so on. And so that was another big setback. And then when we finally got back together and the new bassist wasn't working out, so back to square one, we had
Yeah.
to find a new bassist.
Yeah.
And there's not many people up in Brainerd to play music, so
Yeah.
it was really tough. Like,
Yeah, I know. When Zach stepped away from Pursuit,
Yeah.
I know that was something that Henry was really worried about too. Is being in the area that he's in, going to school, not having a lot of time to,
Yeah.
get someone to fill Zach's big ass shoes. I mean, he's a hell of a drummer. So, but you also said in this time you were teaching yourself how to record all of this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, so I'm sure you dabbled with it before, right? As far as like recording your practices and kind of getting that raw.
I have experience from recording way back 25 years ago
Yeah.
with a 4-track tape mixer
Yeah,
in
yeah.
my parents' basement. When my brother only had 3 microphones for his drums, and all the way to now doing everything on a computer.
Yeah,
I don't have any degree of sound engineering whatsoever.
Yeah.
But with us living up in Brainerd and not willing to drive 2 hours down the cities and try to cram a recording in a day or two for a whole album, and
right.
just wanting to do things on our own turn, we just wanted to self-produce this album and,
Yep.
and do everything on our own, And now with the technology that everybody can have, it's more and more easy to do a good
Yeah.
recording. I'm not saying our recording is professional by any means. I'm not saying that, but there was a huge learning curve for me. And again, I'm not saying it sounds professional, but there was a lot of time spent looking at tutorial on the internet and trying this and that and trying this plugin and just trying everything I could to try to get something decent enough at least.
Yeah.
So, but we're pretty happy with it. It's
Yeah.
not perfect, but
Yeah.
I'm still proud of it.
It sounds great. It doesn't sound bad. I had my headphones on. I wanted to actually take it all in. I didn't even listen to it when you sent it to me because I wanted to have that fresh feel of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I didn't have a ugly look on my face, right? I wasn't
No,
like,
you didn't.
you guys did that?
When you see the big guy behind the desk banging his head, that's always a good sign.
Yeah, you guys. It was good, man. Good feel, good flow,
Yeah.
nice levels everywhere.
Yep.
That sounded good, man. Sounded good. That's So, how did it feel to get through the first part of it? So, I mean, you're obviously recording guitar tracks and sending them back and forth. Now, how did you feel about? Was he sending you guitar tracks before you had drums on them, or before you had, were you getting a feel of any of these tunes before?
No, I would go there when him and Zach would write, and I basically just sat there and watched them write, and I would give my input on a couple things here and there. But I mean, I didn't write anything of the music, of the instrumentals, but I helped them.
Yeah, but you probably had, good feels in certain spots. You know what I mean? I know that when we created it in my band settings, it was always, they were always looking for that the head nod or the where you really fucking feel it, or you go, whoa, go, lengthen that or shorten that, or you know what I mean? That good vibe.
And he did that his his input on some stuff, you know, like Zach and me were trying such drum beat or riff or whatever, and
Arrangements.
sometimes Josh would say, "Oh, why don't we do this, or why don't you guys play that
Right.
so many times?" Or, you know, so it's not like it's just me and Zach writing and Josh sitting in a corner.
Right.
He actually, you know, he takes part of the writing
Sure.
too, you know,
Yeah.
even though he's not playing an instrument, he's still. I mean, that's still a group effort.
I'm an arrangement whore.
Yeah.
Like I don't. I like the songs that I'm a part of, at least, to not be so cookie cutter.
Sure.
I don't want like a open riff, verse, chorus, whatever.
Sure.
I like to mix it up. I get a lot of that from Catatonia and American Head Charge.
Right.
Because that first American Head Charge, the War of Art album, some of those arrangements on there were just like, dude.
That's all Chad, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Most of that is all Chad. I mean, Chad was ridiculous like that. And I'm taking some bass lessons, so I'm like learning that. I've always had a pretty good ear to be able to pull things out, different instruments out of what's going on in the arrangement or whatever, but with this and starting to learn songs, you hear so much more. Do you do that when you're listening to other like national bands, things like that? Do you actually pick them apart and kind of say, oh, I could use something like that? Or I could...
Oh yeah, I did that a lot with Head Charge and Catatonia.
Sure.
And just I don't know. There's a song called "Forsaker" by Catatonia from like 10, 12 years ago, and just the way that it's arranged on there and stuff, I'm just like, I just find it amazing. And the chorus is so big and epic, but it's only said twice in the whole song, but it feels like it was repeated a few times because the song's so well put together.
And probably just grabs a hold of you when they kick in.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I don't know. I just like songs that aren't typical.
Yeah.
That's like when I named some of the songs on the album, other than 3 of them. I don't like using simple titles.
Sure.
I just like to get a thesaurus out and just go from there.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I definitely agree with that 100%, man. That's fucking awesome.
That's where I'm obsessive.
Sure.
I get really obsessive with the lyrics and stuff, and I get pretty married to them too.
Yeah.
And that was a little bit of a pain in the ass when I was recording with him. He wasn't the pain in the ass. It's just when I would write certain parts or whatever, I'd tell him what it is, and we'd go over it, and then he'd be like, well, try this and this. I'm like, that's way better than what I had. That's good. I like it. Because I'm always afraid of repeating the same rhythms over and over again, and I don't want to do that.
Right.
So I had him and Zach's input, and on one of the songs that we sent you, The Valley, there's like the middle chunk of the song where it just takes a complete turn somewhere else, and the way that's one that Zach wrote the majority of the lyrics to. He had it
a cadence of the way he wanted
weird
to
timing
do it.
going with the vocals, and I'm like, dude, what the hell are you doing to me?
Yeah. Yeah. But it opens you up a little bit, doesn't it?
No, that's what I want. Yeah, I want it to be that way, and I watched a bunch of, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Extreme Metal Vocalists Institute on YouTube.
No, I haven't.
This one dude, he's super good at vocals and stuff, and I watched a lot of him to try to learn to scream better.
Sure.
And I found out during that whole process that my lows, I've been doing them wrong.
Yeah.
So now this time around, I like how it sounded, I guess.
Nice.
Oh
yeah, it's just practice and practice and practice, or what? Just trying to get specific like things that he shows you how to do down.
Yeah, it's just the way of trying to do it, and trying to realize that you don't scream from here, you scream from here or here.
Yep.
And I watched Melissa Cross a little bit, and I still need work, but
she's got some great stuff, man.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, she does.
Oh yeah. Hey, welcome. You're allowing your ideas to grow from your bandmates' ideas. That's how you grow as a musician. Well done, sir. Adam D., thank you for joining us, buddy. I thought the chat was dead. No one said what's up.
Oh.
We've got a few people watching. Thank you for watching, by the way. Adam, thank you for joining us and adding your 2 cents. Dude, I agree, man. I think that's the coolest thing ever. And a lot of people, I feel like, are afraid to let other people kind of mold them or give them ideas. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of guitar players, nothing against guitar players, obviously, but they have the majority of the standout stuff in a band. You know what I'm saying? Drummers do too. They can kind of just, there's two instruments that just pull away and they can really throw it down. You get a vocalist that you know links up with those guys, and you have a solid bass player. That's what I always cued on, was a lot of the bass vibe, the feel of the rhythm. You know what I'm saying? Like if I was moving, I knew other people wanted to move as well. You know, and the pattern thing is really difficult to switch it up, because you are creating these songs, you're putting them together, and you want each one to sound different. I saw a Black Sabbath documentary just recently, and they were talking about Masters of Reality.
Oh, nice.
And they were saying about how Iommi plays his music, and how he really liked to separate the vibe, you know what I mean, to where it would be nice and heavy and doomy, but then they would air it out with some kind of classical vibe to it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've been listening to more music and going, wow, people do switch it up that much. They you know, just to let it breathe, to let you feel more of it, you know? When you you know, are able to ask, like, hey, how you know, here's what I'm saying here, or, you know, like Zach would write the lyrics or something like that, how, and letting him say, this is how the cadence of how I felt it, you know? Being a drummer, he's got a whole new vibe, a whole different vibe compared to what you're doing. I mean, you express that, but I mean, and even, you know, as a vocalist speaking to their musicians, the other guys, the backbone of what they do, and saying, hey, I'm feeling this right here. This is how this should go. Or how about this idea here? Or you're mouth riffing something, you know, chug, 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 you know what I mean? And they're like, like this, you know, and you get that vibe. When you play off of each other like that, it's just a fucking amazing thing. You know what I mean? Something that just fills the room with creativity.
Well, that's, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, I was talking earlier about how Josh and I got on that one project I was doing on my own.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about being in a band, that there's that X factor. You can make a demo, you can write drums on drum software and be recording guitars and bass. Imagine everything from A to Z.
Yeah.
And then when you bring it to three other guys, they kind of gonna destroy that, but in a good way,
right?
And say, well, why don't we reorganize this or rewrite that song in this way, or why don't you play that riff that way or that way? And that's the one thing that you can't think ahead, because there's three other brains in there,
right?
And they're gonna bring something new, and that, to me, that's the one exciting thing about being in a band. Like, even if you write a song from beginning to end, there's always gonna be a different way it's gonna and sounding like, because the drummer is going to play this, that way, or that way. Right. And there's been a few songs in that album that Zach really got me out of my comfort zone, and got me to play stuff that I wasn't thinking about even playing, or that I wasn't used to, you know. And to me, that's the most exciting part of the whole album, because that's stuff I'm not used to play. Right. And you
probably grew a lot from that too. I bet you there was more creative flow.
You exactly. You learn a lot from each other, and to me, that's the one good thing about being in a band. Whether you're super famous or just a small local band, you try to really invest yourself in that music, and that other guy is gonna bring more excitement to it.
Yeah. There's a huge trust factor there too. You know.
Oh yeah.
Like I've there's been a few bands that have done really good in this music scene that I've actually tried out before their vocalists that are with them now, right? And one of my biggest things was I didn't want to get involved in something that was already set the way it was. You know what I mean? Like, you've got 4 records already. You know, you want me to come in and sing, you know, maybe 2 songs off of each record. You know, I'm getting a vibe from every one of those vocalists that were there at that particular time. But for me, it's really hard because I never liked doing covers, and for me that felt like covers. Like I want to come in and give my own vibe on it, my own feeling on it. You know what I mean? Right. So when you open yourself up to someone, or you know what I mean, that trust where you kind of let your guard down, you get out of your comfort zone. That's really fucking hard to do sometimes, man.
I'm not a cover. I don't like doing covers either. Like. We don't do covers in the band right now, but no. I'm too self-conscious, because I'm like, what if we pick an awesome song and I absolutely murder it in the worst way possible?
I know.
And I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm just like,
well, I just know how I am. I was talking to my bass teacher, Paul Esch, the other day. I was saying, you know, he was telling me, if I'm going to show you a cover, I'm going to show you exactly how it was done without, you know, and he's like, here, let me show you this. And he shows me this riff, and it was a tail end of a song. And he's like, I've seen so many bands do this. And he's like, no, and it sounds almost the same. But then he's like, this is what it really is. And it's like it's like adds another vibe to it that your ears may not have even heard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the nerdy shit that I hear too. Cause I'm like, I'll watch somebody do a cover and I go, okay, those guys are pretty on it. It sounds pretty good. And then something will, you know what I mean? It'll throw off that vibe and I'll go, yeah, they shouldn't have done that shit.
that's what I don't like. I don't want to be the responsible for that.
But I mean, you know, there's bands that fucking have done that and owned it, absolutely owned it and crushed it. You know what I mean?
You just do the cover in your own way.
Yeah.
You know, there's band that famous band have been covering some older classic, and they actually made it better because they did it their own way.
Yep.
And to me, that's probably the more interesting way to do a cover.
For sure. Yep. Add your own flavor to it, man. I mean, there's a ton of bands that have done that, you know, even old bands, you know, old rock bands that have grabbed blues numbers and spiced them up to do other stuff.
Yep.
Now, when you guys got this project together, or were you kind of, it doesn't have the same feel as the Kobaloi stuff, which I really appreciate. Again, I know that Zach adds a whole nother dynamic to the sound. It really does. How much heavier were you guys trying to go, or was it just a vibe thing and how it was feeling when it was coming out?
We just wanted more double kick and some blast beats. So someone we got along with.
I'd say that was a desire we had from even towards the end of Kobaloi. We wanted to maybe pull more in that direction.
Yeah.
At least Josh and I, but there wasn't. At least in my mind, there wasn't a specific recipe to write music. It was just the impulse of keep on writing music, and I started writing a few songs before we actually got with Zach, and then we wrote more with him. But I didn't have a specific direction. I just kept writing what I wanted to hear, basically. So whether it sounds like Kobaloi or not, or maybe it's because it's my guitar playing, or because it's Josh's voice, and I wouldn't say it's like Kobaloi. It's like Josh and Vince and like Zach from Pursuit,
Right.
But no, we didn't really think too much about we don't want to sound like that.
Sure.
We just keep on going.
Just the way it came out.
Yeah.
That's
Just
organically
vibing with it.
came out that way.
Yeah.
Well,
That's good.
And 4 of the songs technically are all one story.
Okay.
That was all Zach's idea, and we had no thought process of making any concepts within this at first. And then we did the Valley, and the Valley is what set it off. And I just thought he wanted to do one song with the specific story to it,
Right.
and then it went to 2. And then he's like, how about we do like a trilogy? And then we're like, all right, this is not what we were planning on, but yeah, let's try it. And then the acoustic song on there, what's that called again?
La Ronde des Putréfiés.
Okay, yeah, see.
Say that again, slower.
La Ronde des Putréfiés.
What does that mean?
It means the dance of the decaying.
Oh, nice.
The decays.
Nice.
It's so in old time in France, there was some old tradition that when there was a funeral, people were actually celebrating, not because they didn't like the person that died, but because they wanted to keep a more happy thing going and not trying to get too much into sadness.
Yeah.
And
I think we should adopt that here in America.
so
We've had a lot of people pass away, in our scene lately. You know what I'm saying?
I've
So
been seeing that.
I think that I've said this to people, just not to throw this off, but
no.
it's like one of those things where the sadness, visits people every, something happened in April, and in the beginning of April till the end of April, that's all they think about. And it's like, you could celebrate these people, do something good for them in their name. You know what I mean? Like, have a night of just nothing but whatever music they loved. You know what I mean? Dance around, have fun. You know.
You celebrate someone's life instead of. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being sad, or I'm not saying people should do this or that, but you know, I like the idea of celebrating someone's life rather than being all sad.
Yeah.
But then from that concept, it got a little bit darker because, the concept that we had with those 4 songs was, I mean, Josh will probably explain that better than me.
Well,
Go ahead.
go and you do your story first.
Well, it's the whole concept is basically showing all the bad things we do when people fight with each other, whether it's like a murder or a war or things like that. And then it went into the idea of telling the tale of some kind of a battle happening. And La Ronde des Putréfiés is actually some kind of a dance after the battle, and like people still dying on the battlefield, but there's some kind of a dance to maybe make it easier to accept, but at the same time it's has this kind of there's a bit of a darker side to the music, I would say. I mean, it's hard to explain without listening to it, but so we thought about that with that concept, and then Zach actually is a really good acoustic guitar player or guitar player in general.
Yeah.
And he just got one of my guitars at one time at practice and started to play that little acoustic riff, and we just all really, really liked it.
Yeah.
It turned into like
And that turned into an acoustic session, basically. Like, we didn't even plug in the electric guitars, or he didn't get it behind his kit that day. We just sat in circle and just starting playing acoustic guitar, and that's how we wrote it, basically. It's just a little... 4 minutes?
4.5 minutes because of the samples in the beginning and the end.
Yeah.
So, because that song comes before the last song, which is called The Loss. And the ones that Zach co-wrote on was The Summit, The Valley, and The Loss. And then I did all the rest of them. And then, so The Summit, it opens up with this guy, with my friend Nick, who's an actor up at CLC College up in Brainerd. And he
Shout
comes
out to Nick.
Yeah. he comes in and he's pretending he's acting as a war messenger coming to the king saying, the South is advancing on our position. And then the king's like, well, then let us end their pitiful lives and rid them from this land. And then then he did a smash on the desk with some silverware to make it sound like it was a pound. And it just goes like right into the roar right after that.
Yeah.
And that song's about the people higher up that call these wars and make that stuff happen.
Right.
And then the valley is the battle itself.
Oh,
and
nice.
then the loss is how everything's wiped out. And this story specifically is just for fighting over land and territory, and how basically it was nothing. And I have to throw this. Chris from Beastface is actually on a little tiny chunk of the loss. Like he had more melodic vocals kind of at the end of the song, like how it fades out and stuff. But like Vince had kind of like a specific direction he was going with that. So we ended up cutting all that, and then we moved him to a different part of the song. And I wish I could have had him just a little bit more on there, but I didn't want to. This was already taking so long, and I don't know how busy he is, and I didn't want to interrupt him. So
damn you, Chris! No, I'm just kidding.
No,
I love that dude. That dude's awesome. Just a sweetheart of a guy.
It
too.
just fits so well. It's like some kind of a chorus in that song that's more of a mid-tempo chorus and something kind of groovy and training, and his melodic parts on there just. It's layered with Josh screaming the same thing, and it really fits well in the whole spirit of something more epic.
Awesome.
I would say.
Oh yeah.
So
badass.
And then the whole album itself is called Subhuman Born.
Yeah.
And that was just originally from the song that is now in verse. I originally wanted that to be called Subhuman Born, but then I realized the lyrics did not match what subhuman actually means.
Right.
So then we're just like, all right, we'll just take Subhuman Born and we'll just call the album that, because we all like the title.
Yeah.
And the whole point of that title is just to be about nothing original, just how vile we all are, or we can be. Yeah. And that we kill each other for land, religion, and all this other stuff.
And bullshit. Straight bullshit.
And just, exactly. Nothing, and things that have no importance, and you just hurt someone or kill them for no reason.
Right.
And then, it covers everything from pedophiles to abusers to my battle with OCD, and then a couple other things. And and then what's the little story of Death to Serve, about these pharaohs and gods that got buried in the tombs, and they would kill their servants to serve them out in the afterlife.
Oh wow!
Some old civilization like the pharaohs or some Celtic civilization in Europe, if you're a servant of some lord or some important person,
You died too.
you die too when that person dies.
Damn.
Or you get, in the case of the pharaohs, sometimes people would just be buried alive. Like there was a giant tomb, like the pyramids or something buried in the ground, and the day the pharaoh was put underground, the servants would go to.
Wow.
So
I don't think I want to work here anymore. You know.
He told. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, it was kind of the idea between the song called Death to Serve, and Josh wrote the lyrics with that, and I had this idea of some kind of a Middle Eastern sounding riff that went with it, and so, yeah.
Yeah, he told me that story. I'm like, dude, I don't know what the hell to say on that. I haven't even heard of that before. So then he sent me a link to it, and I read up on it a little bit, and then I just wrote it, and when I hit the sent button to our lyrics conversation, I was like, oh, I hope this is good enough. And
boom.
He's like, that's exactly what I was going for. And I'm like, really? Because I was just like, ugh.
That's the synergy. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing that you guys have built together. And a lot of younger players may not know exactly how that happens. I think that's an unspoken language that we kind of bond with. You know what I'm saying? As musicians, you when you connect with the people you connect with, it just works that way. You know what I mean? Like, he probably knows what you're capable of and what you're doing. So he's on the same level. Probably when he's writing his guitar parts, he's like, oh yeah, Josh should fucking sound good over this shit. You know what I mean? I know that's how it's happened in my bands before, where the guys I've jammed with for so many years, it just all of a sudden they're going, dude, I hear you right here. And that, again, that's that vulnerability where you're like, as a musician, can you take the, hey, dude, I know you're doing it this way, but this is how I hear it. You know what I mean? That's the fun thing. I actually tried out for a band recently that had some songs done, and my one kind of was I heard lots of potential in it and lots of cool sound in it. And then when I asked if it was set in stone, other than, you know what I mean, because I like to, stretch things out a little bit more, get more feel out of it. Sometimes when riffers do it, they get their riff set, and that's the way it is. You know what I mean? You're kind of set, especially if they've been playing it already and they have a guy come in who's like, yeah, can I switch that? And they're like, no, nope, you haven't earned the right to switch any of that shit yet.
We're all very open with each other when it comes to that. So, I mean, it's
even Adam now rejoining the band again. We told him right away, do your own thing. I mean, there's only me as a guitar player and him as a bassist, so we don't even have to deal with a second guitar, which kind of complicates things a little bit because both guitarists really have.
That was another setback because we had a guitar player, two guitar players in the beginning, and then he told us he's like, you guys can just keep this riff, and it's not my type of music.
Wow.
Yeah, that was another setback.
Yeah, so that was another one because he had to figure out his looper system and how to do all that getting everything down to so he could just play it himself and all that. So that was another one.
But yeah, we told Adam right away, do your own thing. I mean, Matt did a great job again. I really want to give him props for that.
Matt McGee.
Matt McGee. Yeah.
We don't want Adam to think he has to play like that. And they're two different kind of basses too. So that's the thing. We don't want. Yeah,
and I think 4 or 5 feet difference between the height.
Yeah.
Man,
I can agree with that.
Matt in the band, then it would have been about my height.
Oh yeah.
It would have evened it out instead of going like at a pyramid.
Dude, when we do band pictures, that's gonna be weird.
Why is it? Because Zach's like 18 feet tall, isn't he?
Yeah, Zach and Adam are.
Put Zach and Adam way back and me way in the front.
Well, why don't you one of you guys on each other's shoulders and you'll be about as tall as.
We were long coat.
Yeah. Just your faces sticking out. Hey, fucking hilarious. That's good.
I did think of a picture that would be funny to do. Since me and him and I are shorter than Adam and Zach, there's a bench on this trail behind my house.
Yeah.
just my daughter has a lot of cement chalk.
Yeah.
So just have Zach and Adam sitting behind on the bench, just like that, and then me and Vince just sitting with our legs out like this, the opposite way, just drawing like that.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Work it like coloring in the band logo, logo on the sidewalk and shit. Oh yeah. Adam D says giving trust to other musicians is the biggest test. Excuse me. You know, you found the right musicians when they respect it and value it, and wanting to protect that trust, you put them in or put in them. That's right. Nothing wrong with more double bass pedal and blast beats, bro. Let's go. Fuck yeah.
Nice.
Thank you, everybody who's joining us, too. Feel free to throw something in the chat. If you're watching this on Facebook, join us on YouTube because I can't see your Facebook stuff. There's something goofy with Restream. You got to subscribe to their shit to be able to get the Facebook comments over here onto this one. So if you want to join us on YouTube, you can chat with us. And if you guys have any questions at all, throw them at the chat. Throw them in the chat for the guys here or for myself, and we'll get to those as well. Thank you again for joining us. Let me do something real quick. I've got a couple shows coming up here. Tomorrow night, I want you guys to come down to the Skyway Theater. We've got Mortis Skull, Dissenter from Chicago, Mortis Skull from Milwaukee, Dissenter from Chicago, Aberration from here, and Bludgeon from here. And Bludgeon has been playing a couple shows. They just did Safety Joe Fest 2 up in Wasco's last weekend. So these guys are getting primed up and ready to go. And I think they've got at least one new guy in the band. So Skyway Theater tomorrow evening, Studio B, 18 plus, 6:30 doors, 7:30 music. $15 in advance, 18 at the door. I know people have said something about the ticket prices being a little high. Here's the thing: is there's like a lot of overhead at these big clubs, and it's kind of hard to. I want to make sure that the bands get paid, and these guys are big bands from out of town, and we want to make sure that these guys get paid. So I apologize if you feel the ticket prices are a little high. But you can get them in advance. You can come down and hang out with us. You can get them at skywaytheater.com. And we would just really appreciate you showing some support at the Skyway Theater. This is a place that has 5 rooms in it, and we're trying to break into one of these bigger rooms with some big shows, or the possibility of doing something like the Quest for Mayhems, where we were doing 2 rooms at a time. But we've been having some trouble getting some folks in there, and I know that it's really difficult. With everything as far as the COVID stuff opening up now, and everybody wants to get out and play, and there's only so many weekends to play out in your own town. I get all of that. I know that there's going to be shows on top of each other. I just don't want to have people squashing on each other. It's real hard to do, real hard to be successful at a new venue when we're booking over the top of each other. So that's just my 2 cents. Next one we got is the Midwest Death Fest, Saturday, June 25th. That's like 2 weeks from now, or a week from now, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's got an Unmerciful, Putrid Pile, Casket Robbery, Gorgatron, Coffin Rites, Agony Reigns, Maul, and Semtex. That bill is absolutely stacked with heavy, heavy bands. Amsterdam Bar, again, that's June 25th, $20 in advance, $25 at the door, 21 plus show, 5 p.m. doors, 5:30 music. Get down to that one. It is going to be a barn burner, or what do they call it? They say it's a banger. The kids say it's a banger nowadays. So that's it. August 13th, back to the Skyway Theater. Open-minded. Let me see here. Born Hated. Sorry, featuring Macho Suave, Ron Quill, TikTok, Break the Basic. Hosted by Dr. Murr, Beatbox Extraordinaire, Studio B in the Skyway Theater, Ritual Madness Podcast, and the Metal Brigade, Midwest Metal Promotions. This is a hip-hop night. If you know Tick or Brandon from Krog, this is his side project, hip-hop stuff. So we wanted to give some love to the hip-hop cats as well. So come down August 13th. It's going to be a good time. So, again, that's... August 13th, 7 p.m. doors, 8 p.m. music, 21 plus, $10 at the door. Let me see here. I got like 2 more. Sorry. Let me see here. Ritual Madness Podcast and the Metal Brigade present Night of the Lotus. This is Dreams Aside official Lotus release, party release, sorry, featuring Mirror of Being, Dreams Aside, Beast-Faced, and Visceral Reaction. Saturday, September 24th, Skyway Theater, Studio B, 18 plus, 6 p.m. door, 7:30 music. 10 in advance, 20 at the door, or sorry, 12 at the door, not 20. Get your tickets at skywaytheater.com. Again, this is Dreams Aside's debut release. Lotus is going to be released this night. It's going to be a blast. This is a really good lineup as well. Mirror Being has been doing some great things for these last few years. Even through the pandemic, these guys have been pushing through a lot of shit, doing videos and really putting on some really good size shows. Dreams Aside is a band that I had. A couple of the guys came on here and did a podcast with me. This band is very, very fun. They're very cool. They've got a great groove to them. Beastface, we were just talking about Chris. Beastface is a fantastic band. And this Visceral Reaction, some younger cats. My friend Bucky's son plays in this band. I got to meet those guys at a couple of them at Testament just this last time, and very cool kids. They just got a chance to open up for, who the fuck was it? I don't know, one of these big death metal bands that came through town. They just opened up for them, and they're going to be opening up for Crowbar here coming up. So visceral reaction. That my big fat tongue gets in the way, man. All right, I think I got one more. One more? Yes, one more. October 13th. Let me see if I can find this, because they're black metal logos, so they look like, you know, piles of sticks and shit. See, I can't even read them, and I've been doing this for a little while. Let me see here. So, Ascarum, Cultus Profano, Black Devotion, and Feral Light. Studio B, October 13th. It is a Thursday evening. It's going to be fun. This is like the dawn of an infinite fire over North America 2022. These are a bunch of overseas bands coming over here to tear up some black metal shit. It's $12 in advance, 15 at the door, 18 plus. Come check it out. I'm sure you'll hear it or see it on all over the fucking Facebooks or ritualmadnesspodcast.com. Back to the love here. You guys sick of hearing me rattle on about shows that are?
No, not at all.
You guys ready to get out and jam or what?
We're getting there.
Getting there.
We're getting Adam ready with us, and then I don't think it's gonna take much more now. And then
is there going to be an official CD release, or are you guys just going to come out and work the positions like?
Well, right. Well, the album is just a digital release right now, and then
where can they find it?
What's that?
I found it on iTunes. Where else can they find it?
You can find it on pretty much everywhere. You can download, stream, and buy music. So DistroKid, Bandcamp,
Spotify, all that shit.
All
it's
the
all
main
over.
platform on iTunes, Amazon Music, YouTube Music.
I like how you use the big D on the end.
You like the big D?
Yeah, the big D, dude. Hey, you know,
I don't even know whose idea that was. Was that your idea?
No,
Was it?
It was either you or
it wasn't me. I wouldn't have.
It was Zach.
I guess it was
Zach.
Probably Zach.
Just to match the big and letters on
either end, like Metallica.
Yeah, there you go.
And that's fantastic.
And then if
I mean, Solarend with a big D is better than Solarend, right?
That's right.
So,
that's right.
True.
That's right. That's right,
man.
man.
Our little logo is just the SO because we thought SD. It's like, oh, South Dakota.
Right. No, we're not from South Dakota. Yeah. Fucking
so we just went with so.
Yeah, there you go.
So are you? So how far out do you think you guys are before you start playing out again?
I don't want to speak for everybody, but
you're ready to go now,
huh? I'm fucking ready. Yeah, I mean, we just need, we just want to make sure we stage ready as a band.
Yeah.
And so, like, we just need a few more practice with Adam, and then we're gonna start contacting people, book shows, and we just don't want to go on stage and not being able to play, basically.
Yeah.
Well, and then making that album, like, we didn't get a whole lot of time to actually practice because we were so focused on getting that done.
Right.
And then
in small increments too, right? I mean, it was you guys are piecing things together. It's not like,
Yeah, no, it's not like and it took him. He literally was mixing, like learning how to mix for 7 months straight last year. I started recording in March of last year, and I finished in August. And then once Zach re-recorded the drums, I didn't have to re-record anything because he played it exactly the same the second time around.
Right.
So like that's what happened. There's just so much stuff going on.
Yeah, it was just a long process to do everything on our own, basically.
Yeah.
Like we said, we started this 3 years ago, but then.
Any plans to do any type of videos or anything like that?
We have a few music lyrics videos already.
Yeah.
Okay.
On our YouTube channel.
Okay.
There's 3 of them.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think 3 of them. So we actually
Share them fuckers. I haven't even seen any of them yet.
Why it's all over our Facebook page and we
I,
shared it.
well, you should fucking send them to me, dude. I'll share the shit.
We will, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll share the shit. I'll put it on, at least throw it in the mix because I like doing that,
I
especially if
send you-
nobody's really seen it or heard it yet. You know what I mean? Like, if you guys are ready to pop off, you might as well get it out there and try to get some
I'll send you
rotation
some.
out of it.
We've been spreading it out as much as we could on social media, but it's just some lyrics video. We released 3 songs before the actual album release.
Right.
So we promoted that just like singles basically.
Yeah. Well, dude, I bet so
Drake
much.
that you played is one of them.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the first one we released.
Yeah.
Because I funny story about that when you were talking about it earlier, or when I don't know, one of you was talking about it. But when it came up earlier, I was really convinced. I was like, I wasn't digging it at first. I was like, oh, this sounds like it's just a filler song. But then once I put the vocals down, and then once he had a first mix of it, we listened to it, and we were just like, damn, the ending of this really hits hard. This would probably be a good one to go for.
Yeah.
Go
That
for
was the
right
first
away.
one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that ending is very cool. Yeah, you could feel it. I know what you're talking about.
It was.
It popped to me, before he even said anything. I was like I said, there's a break in there at towards the end of that groove where it's like you fucking give a little hiccup and then it's right at you.
That's the other thing that I love about songwriting is he knows that I'm all about like surprises and just changing things up if we have to.
Right.
Just because that's how you keep it.
Some of my
interesting.
favorite stuff.
That's how you keep it interesting.
I don't like to
know.
repeat things too much.
Yeah.
I like to have some kind of a structure in the songwriting, but I'm really not about having
But
3
it-
times the same chorus.
But it
and-
doesn't seem like you guys like you're trying to jam too many riffs in one spot either, though.
No.
It's like you're doing just the right amount because that all the fucking and it's a notorious noodler. Someone in the band always has to. It's like you want to one up every other guitar player in the fucking crowd. You know what I'm saying? But the ones that are moving their heads, those are the ones you should be fucking paying attention to. Is the head movement and not the guy going. Did you see what he just did? You know.
Not to sound like an old fart. Well, I guess I am an old fart. but I'm done trying to prove the world that I can play.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not the best guitar player or anything like that. I'm not saying this to sound arrogant or anything like that, but I am.
You're French. You're lying right now.
There you go. I'm at a point where I like to write music because that's what I want to hear, and not to prove that I can play this and that, or I'm over the peace contest.
Yeah. It takes a long time for people to realize that too. You know what I mean? So, some people catch it, some people don't for a long time. You just get caught up in it. I really like the competitiveness of music too. You know what I mean?
It's a good thing, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of toxic stuff involved in it too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like ego and arrogance gets involved in a lot of it. You know what I mean? And I've been guilty of it myself, thinking my
We've all been there.
my pants are way bigger than they are. You know what I'm saying? Or my talents are bigger than what they really are. But when you're doing it for yourself and doing it for, with the guys and everybody's feeling it and doing it for themselves and putting it out there because they love it, because they love to create, they love to keep that creativity flowing. Fuck, that's the shit that people connect with.
It sounds maybe almost selfish to say, we want to create the music we want to hear and not for someone else, and not to prove that we're the best out there or whatever.
Right.
But at the same time, to me, it's the best way to sound more authentic.
Yeah.
Because that's what you want to play. You
Right.
like it? Great. You don't?
Yeah.
That's still our music.
It's amazing when you see the crowd go, bonkers or, mosh pit to your stuff. That's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like you said before, me, I'm an old fucking fart. I will be happy with the, just that dirty face, like, oh, that's stinky. Oh, shit. You know what I mean? Just nasty. That I just saw a meme of somebody saying that, that it had this kid going like that, and it's like when you hear that one riff that your guitar player plays, it's like, oh yeah.
We actually had that moment with the Valley when he came up with the guitar part on it, and Zach was just like, that was fucking disgusting. That's gross.
Yeah, right. Probably the only time that it's the best thing ever. Really? You're like, cool. Yeah, fuck yeah, I like that. Hey, Adam, do you ever get that when you guys are jamming with your new project or whatever you're doing over there, you get that stink face like, ew, that's fucking filthy. You know, that's a feeling right there, man. You could especially in heavy music too. You know what I mean? You get that the Duke face, like, ooh, you know, you get the chills from it, man. You know,
Get your old bone jamming
Yep.
again.
right. I wish I could speak French. I would say what you said about the decaying, the dance of the decaying. That's what I would say. Like, yep.
They run the.
That's not selfish. This is your music. Yeah, for sure,
There
dude.
you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say I kind of alluded to that before. Is like, you know, I always hated the people that were like trying to impress the musicians in the crowd more so. And I know that we, like, as musicians, you want to have, like, you want to sound the way you want to sound, and you don't want to sound like everybody else. Like, when I listen to music, if before I hear their story and say, yes, I really found this Motorhead album great, and before you even hear like the little nuances of Motorhead in it, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I like to listen to things and wonder where they got that vibe from, you know what I mean? Like, because we all borrow or vibe off of something where you're like, I don't necessarily want to sound like that, but there's an essence, you know, an aura of what I want, you know, something stanky on it. You know what I mean?
Secret ingredient that you get for yourself.
Yeah. And I mean, and you know when you feel it. You know what I mean? With any type of music, if it makes you move, and that's what I've always thought. Like, if I saw somebody really that normally wouldn't be into what I'm doing, you know what I mean? And they're watching the band, and you know, that's why I've always told like younger musicians when they're like focusing on what they're playing, you know, and I'm like, you know what you're fucking playing, right? And you're so focused on it, that instrument is playing you. You're not playing that instrument. You know what I'm saying? But when you turn your head to the crowd, and I'm like, I said this to a bass player one time, I'm like, you know what he's saying, right? You've heard him sing that song how many times? I'm like, you know the part where he goes, "Rah!" You know what I mean? Fucking do it with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're into it, you're focusing on what you're doing. All of a sudden, you just turn at the crowd and hit that note. When he hits that note and you're going, at the same time, everybody's going to go, what the fuck was that? And then just totally back into what you're focusing on. That will make people go absolutely apeshit just because you focusing on this and taking that focus away and then giving it to them really quick.
Share your groove with the.
Yeah, man. That, you know, that right there. You could hit that. Nah, he's hitting it. You know what I mean? That fucking vibe. It's like dropping a pebble in the water. I've used this analogy with my daughter the other day about lies, about anything. You drop one in there and it ripples out and affects everything else, man. It is the same with being on stage when you hit that vibe and you feel it. Eli from Daigoro, the drummer from Daigoro, said that to me, that one of the first times that he'd ever seen one of my bands play. He's like, I looked at you like, is this fucking guy for real? And then he goes, I watched you for a little bit, and he was like, I realized you were really into it that much. You know what I mean? That I just was like, fuck yeah. You know what I mean? Air guitar, fucking turning it up, you know what I mean? Doing all that crazy shit. That's the best shit ever, man. You know? You're sucking them in.
That strikes me most with vocalists.
Yeah.
Because I can say that for you too.
Yeah.
Like, I remember seeing you playing with
Outside the Murder.
Outside the Murder, and so it was the NYDM Mosh Out Suicide.
Yeah.
When I saw you play for the first time, and you were like right there on stage, you were a complete different person.
Yeah.
And then when he came to record for my own project, the first time I saw him doing vocals, he was really into it.
Yep.
He wasn't doing vocals behind a microphone. He was telling a story, and that's what I like with Josh.
Right.
Like, he's living it more than performing it.
Yeah, I've seen you. I've seen you change a lot on stage, though. Too, you know what I mean. I've seen you become more confident on stage. In certain, I've seen you like talking. You know, there's a different persona when you're off stage. You don't.
Yeah.
There's a switch we flip
Yeah.
that a lot of people who don't play in bands don't really understand that switch. You know, that is everything that we do. Creativity. You know what I mean? Like that makes me flourish in life. Is being creative. It could be a podcast. It could be tie-dye. It could be anything.
Yeah.
You know, when you focus your energy into something and then all of a sudden you open it up or you push play, or you know what I mean, you show it to someone else and they go, whoa, that's really cool, man. I really like what you're doing there. I really like that. Or you find a friend, you find a comrade that you really chew the shit with. You know what I mean? The guys that I've made a bond with in any of my bands, I still look at them like they are truly a brother beyond anyone else in the world, because they can speak that language that I speak. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when you see somebody who you know is maybe not as outgoing as other people are, you know what I mean, you're kind of like set back. But when you flip that switch, man, I've seen you go from very, very timid on stage to just like commanding that shit. I've seen you do that at Lee's before, where it was like in the beginning you're shaky, and then all of a sudden it was like you popped right through it, and then it was like, now you're in it, and now you're like, you know, leaning up against Adam, or you know what I mean, like throwing down. That shit's awesome, man. That's what it's all about.
Well, I the way I look at it is I'm clearly not an intimidating person at all, so I don't try to be. I just get up there, I act like a dumbass, and just headbang a lot. And
You know, the dumbass part though, you know what I mean? We were talking about the metronome type of thing, you know what I mean? Like, I think when somebody cracks a smile, especially when they're supposed to be the hardest guy in the whole room all the time, everybody's always got that fucking, you know, I got my vest on, and I got my, you know what I mean? Like, I got my heaviest of heavy metal shirts on, you know what I mean? And they're into it. If they crack a smile and have fun with and they're joking with each other up there, and then they're joking with their friends in the crowd, like, that is energy that also adds to that vibe that you're doing. Like, you can be full on into it and really enjoy the music and project that to people.
Yeah.
And you can also, project that happiness and fun, and, you know, that's the creative side of it, man. You're fucking letting people know this was fun to create, and I'm glad you're enjoying it. You know what I mean? Right. That's the shit.
Well, yeah, I kind of got all that mannerism stuff on the stage from Killswitch Engage when they released their DVD, like way back then, about just how Adam Duckwitz, he just goofs around, but he's still having fun, and he's still doing his thing and everything. He'll even leave the stage and go to the bar while playing The End of Heartache, just sitting there playing it, and get a drink and get a shot. And
looking at the...
And he's just ripping us all like, hey, it's my part coming, look. And he's just,
he's like, hey, hold on, my part.
That's awesome, man.
And that's the way I look at it. And like, I like to try to interact with people. And I mean, I have no delusions. I know that I'm, you know, even on a local band level, it's just still fun to, you know, address the audience as well, because that's, for me, that's how I get more into it.
Yeah.
And I would keep thinking, I'm like, well, if there was a bigger band and they did things like this, that would be freaking great.
Yeah.
You know,
people would walk away from that. You know what I mean? And, and the internet is a buzz right when that shit happens, you know? Oh, yeah. Like, when I seen Gojira and Deftones the last time they were here, Chino came out with Gojira and did a Sepultura song. You know what I mean? So it's like, and they didn't do it on any other tour date but the one in Minneapolis. That was the coolest shit ever. That's the thing that was a buzz. Some guy, a random dude, was like, hey, can I use your footage? Because I just took 15, 20 seconds of that video of that show or that song, you know what I mean, of them bouncing across. He used part of my video, collected other videos from other people in the crowd, and made a full video of it with the sound. It's really cool. It actually turned out pretty good.
Pretty cool, actually.
Yes, we always get that stink face. Yes, that's good, Adam. That's the way to do it. But I mean, some of your favorite bands, man. You know what I mean? Like, who are the vocalists that you kind of pick pieces off of? Like, pick things from. You said Killswitch Engage is one of them.
Yeah, Jesse Leach for sure.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Jesse Leach fan. I like Till Lindemann from Rammstein. I don't have any really like classical ones except for like Freddie Mercury. Right. But I clearly don't do that.
Right.
And,
that you notice, we see it all the time. We see Doing that shit, dude. Yeah.
When I start telling the crowd to go, hey, yo.
Dude, if you don't do that when I see I want to do that when I see you guys play. I'm going to go, oh! Just to get you to crack a smile, dude.
That's what you said, challenge accepted.
Yeah, challenge accepted. But I really like Travis Ryan, too, from Cattle Decapitation.
Yeah.
I like Meatloaf still, too.
Yeah.
Meatloaf was the first band that I got into that actually made me love music.
Right.
But I had to have to say, and Cameron from Head Charge.
Yeah.
So those are probably my tops.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Corey Taylor, too, but I kind of like the others a little more.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
you know, I'm a Corey Taylor fan, not saying he sucks, because he doesn't.
No.
But I kind of like all those other guys. I like Travis Ryan because that dude, for a death metal vocalist, is just all over the place.
Yeah.
He's freaking great.
Yeah, yeah.
And Till Lindemann, just like that big burly German voice and stuff. So, you know, and Jesse Leach, I'd have to probably say is my favorite.
Yeah.
But I can't sing like that, so
Sure.
you can't get that out of me yet.
Yeah. Yet is the key, though. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There may be a part that Vince writes that needs to, you know what I mean? Something to catch you. You know.
We'll just call Chris up again, since I know he can sing.
Yeah. Well, you know what? There's a guy that used to jam with Rob. He jams in a few different bands around here too. John had one of the guys from Grace Point, I believe, come in, help him write some chorusy stuff, some stuff for him, and help him kind of get a cadence vibe on a couple different tunes. And hearing those and you know, having somebody come in and give you an idea. I mean, if you're feeling Chris's vibe, man, maybe Chris can fucking give you the old zapper and you know, kind of point you in the right direction. You never know.
I tried it in Kobaloi when we first started, and we had two vocalists at the time. One was singing, and then he left. And then I tried doing it, and then they were all like sitting around like, why are you hiding this from us? And I'm like,
he's got a better voice than he sings.
Yeah.
Vince is like, you got to just a little pitch control and it should be good. And I'm like, okay. But I haven't done it since.
Wow, man. It's there. You just got to give it a chance,
maybe
man.
we should just write one song when Chris can come on stage and just, you know.
Duet with each other. Have a duet.
Yep.
A ballad.
Look into each other's eyes. I got you, babe.
All each other in a
hands, and then I'll just have
each other's eyes.
Then I'll just have to. Me and Chris will just have to go over on each side of Adam and just sit there and rub up on him. And if he's got his glasses slipping off, just slip them back up.
Super comfortable.
Yeah. And I could eat somebody's hair like I did. I did that to Damien and Kobaloi when we played in Bemidji.
Yeah.
I grabbed Damien, was just headbanging like crazy, and I just got up behind him and grabbed his hair and put it in my mouth, and Adam's face is like,
Don't do that to me,
You know,
okay?
if we had like one song in Kobaloi with that clean intro I was playing, and I think Tom had this thing on his drum set, like little like this little thing that sounds like a like a fairy.
oh yeah, the sample pad with
gotcha.
yeah.
It have some weird chime on it or something. Here's a question for you, Mr. Vince. What is your setup? What are your amps? What are your pedals? Your guitars? And what are you running with?
And what is the size of your penis?
Damn,
Just kidding.
this big.
Eh. It's French. I'm French, and we have a D in the band logo.
It's a big D on the end, by the way.
It's very wee.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk gear a little bit then. So I have a camper profiler, and my
Shit! Did you tell Rob you got one of those, or does Rob know you have one of those?
Actually, long time ago, I don't think Rob even remember. I asked him what he thinks of it.
Oh,
I messaged him before. I was on the fence of getting that.
yeah.
So, but I'm pretty happy with it. And I have a orange pedal baby for the power amp because that thing is pretty fantastic. It's talking gear. It's a Class A power amp, which is basically what you find in a tube amp.
Okay.
But it's not using tubes, so you don't have the inconvenience of the tube. It's solid state, but it sounds, to me, at least to my ears, it sounds way more like a tube amp.
Oh, gotcha.
So that power tube really helps.
You said orange? An orange?
It's orange, yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's called a pedal baby.
Right.
And it's really great. And then I use a cab with V30 in there. Celestion V30.
Nice.
So that sounds.
I've always heard good things about
cool.
those. Heavy shit? Is it heavy?
Well, it's a 2x12.
Okay.
And that's enough. I'm thinking maybe adding another 2x12 to spread my sound a little bit more, but that's.
Well, if you're
for later.
you're just a single guitar player, why not stereo? You know.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. But well.
So it'll make that sound real good, man. Having
yeah.
that good stereo sound.
Yeah, I played like that before. I really like it.
Yeah.
And then I use Jackson Kelly and a BC Rich Warlock, tuning drop B and drop A.
Nice. Switch between the two.
Yep. And that's about it. Yeah, it's just a MIDI controller for the camper to switch,
Between the channels.
different channels, and that's it.
Mr. Josh, what kind of microphones do you use for recording, and what microphone do you use at live shows?
Well, the recording one is one of the one that you have. The
Okay,
Shure
SM7.
SMB, yeah, that one. And then, oh God, what the hell is? Oh my God, I can't remember the name of it. Sennheiser.
Sennheiser, yeah.
Yeah, that one. I use a wire. I use a wireless mic for that, and that's pretty much it.
Use a microphone.
I saw a lot of me and you right at that moment. You're like, what the fuck is the name of that thing? You got it in your hand. Oh yeah, Sennheiser. That's it.
I'm not a gear guy like him.
Yeah.
So I just go there to listen to the music, write lyrics, and scream it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And jam, and
arrange.
and arrange. Yeah, that too. Do better arrangements next time.
You got to get better at your resume, bro. Your resume is bigger than you think it is.
I know. I know, but that goes back to that whole ego thing. Like I think my ego is not having an ego. I'm just kind of like, meh.
That's not really having ego though. That's knowing what
true,
you're capable of. That's all.
True.
That's all
Yeah.
that is.
True.
I mean, you should always be confident in what you do. You know what I mean? You're a solid frontman. You got a solid voice, and I have actually was able to tell in this recording. So that's you're saying you're working on that. That's something that I really wish I did. When I was doing vocals, man, is really focusing on more on my patterns, more on different things.
Well, the first song we recorded, Beast of Obsession, after I hadn't recorded in so long and I hadn't screamed in so long that I got up there, we did it, and then right after we were done, I just fell on the floor. And I was just like, dude, I just laid right on his floor. My entire body was like killing me at that point in time.
Feeling like you just
Yeah, and it was only like a 2.5 minute song.
Yeah.
It still took me a couple hours to do, but because I was just like, oh man, I haven't done this in so long. And throat coat and honey have become my best friend, and cough drops or lozenges. I mean, those two helped immensely.
You know what I always did too after having the throat coat and all that other stuff in the honey is 5 sunflower seeds. Throw them in there for the salt. It gives you just a little bit more. Everything starts to kind of. You just got to keep drinking water with it so you don't dehydrate yourself.
Oh yeah, hot water with throat coats, my friend.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
That's you can get sore, man, especially if you're away from it for a while. And being in the recording studio is stressful on you too.
And it was hot. It was in March, but it was hot.
Yeah.
In the room that we were in.
A tiny room in my at home. That's my studio.
Yeah.
Quote unquote my studio.
Yeah. Everybody jammed into a small room with a lot of gear.
Corner of this, and I have a computer in one corner and
blowing hot air.
It gets fucking hot really quick.
Yeah. Yep, blowing hot air. Yeah.
Practice this Sunday is gonna suck.
Yeah.
Because it's Father's Day this week. I don't know what we're doing.
This week's supposed to be bad though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's supposed to be over 100 on Sunday.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Not looking forward to that at all.
I'm looking forward to going out to eat with the kids and my girlfriend and everything. So
yeah,
that's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Food, baby.
Woo. Having a food baby. Yes. Let me see here. We got to those two. What is it that you guys miss the most about being on stage right now?
What is
like?
Can you say that again?
No. What do you miss the most about being on stage right now?
Well, the excitement to be on stage, the sound that surrounds you when you're playing your own music, and you just hit that chord or the strings on your guitar, and it just
shakes
there,
the whole
and
damn room.
When everybody's playing together and it's grooving, and the best thing, of course, that every musician is to see the crowd reacting positively to it, and you know.
Yeah.
Like, we had moments in Kobaloi where I would just headbang, and then I would just look, and it wasn't a big room or anything, but it was packed, and we could see the people really moving to it, and that's the best feeling.
Oh yeah.
Was
for
that when
sure.
we did the open for head charge? Was that at the Skyway, or was that a?
Well, I'm
different
just
one?
saying in general.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Skyway was the biggest one, but
Mhm.
but even smaller places that we played, you know, and when you see that it's pretty packed, and you see that most people are moving.
Yeah.
That's
Fantastic feeling, man.
That's the best.
All
feeling.
your hard work
Or
finally.
you just, you're just really into it, and you just start yelling at people in face with what the vocalist is yelling or whatever, and you really get into it, and then that's you kind of lose yourself into that.
During one of the old songs in the last band, I always would, the second verse of the song, I would pick somebody out that's sitting there looking or not doing much, and I would get right in their face, and I would stare at them in the eyes and sing that whole part to them.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with them. I just liked making people uncomfortable sometimes. So,
They're like,
mm-hmm. Yep. Well, I mean, yeah, the
why
thing.
is that dude staring at me?
Because you're not doing nothing.
You're standing there. Just wiggle your ass a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a guy. Exactly. How uncomfortable are you now? Just breathing out her neck and shit.
You're giving me good ideas for making Adam uncomfortable
Yeah,
now. This is
yeah.
good. I already have a shirt that's gonna probably
You know,
make people look at me weird because it just says average dick energy on it.
yes.
I'm planning on, and I also have another one that has like a poorly drawn goat on it. And it's
I'm sorry. That is a good one, dude. That's a good one.
the other one, it has this goat with upside down crosses in the eyes, and it's really poorly drawn. It says spicy heck boy on it.
Nice.
So I'm planning on
Rocking those. Those are going to be your stage attire.
Probably,
You've got your
yeah.
stage attire already picked out. That's
Probably.
fantastic, dude.
No, yeah, that's well, I mean, that's like what I did before. Like I always had a black button-up shirt and stuff, and then now I kind of like I just find these ridiculous shirts online and I buy them, and that was one of them. Yeah, the average dick energy one was my favorite.
Yeah, by far, dude. By far, that's fantastic. I would actually rock one of those, dude. You know?
I was actually walking I went for a late night walk a couple days ago, and I had that shirt on, and it was still a little daylight outside, and this dude and this chick were rollerblading, and the girl was just like looking at me, and I'm sitting there looking at her, trying to, or them, to see if they're looking at my shirt, and the girl's got this really crooked smile on her face, and I'm like,
Yeah, as she goes by, you feel it? You feel it?
Are you feeling it now,
Yeah.
Mr. Krabs?
Yeah. Are you feeling it? You just make them more uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying?
I wear that shirt under my button-up shirts sometimes at work too.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I can't wear that in public while I'm working at least. But yeah, I have it on there sometimes. I even have an Elmo shirt that has Elmo holding his mustache out, and it says, "This gonna tickle." Just saying.
You've been wearing this one a few times.
Yeah, we've got pictures from the last band when I was doing that.
Yeah.
The big V's.
That's awesome, dude.
So,
Hell yeah.
That's the thing, man. I like injecting humor. I honestly, when you said that I kind of like turn differently on stage, I mean, I know everybody who does.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like a jackass sometimes because I hate when I'm one of those people where I'm like, do I say let's get the fuck going, or do I just kind of let it roll and see what happens?
Yeah.
That's why
You do for a little bit, and then you have to tell them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You sometimes there's different crowds too, man. You know what I mean? Some of them will, if Mosher Dan is in the place, the crowd will move a little bit.
Yep.
But if he's not there, or he's in the back of the room, you got to call him out to come out. Hey Dan, why don't you come up here and start this? These guys are fucking pussies. You know what I mean? Like, they're not feeling the fucking average dick energy right here. They're not feeling that shit. Yep. Give it to them, Dan. You know what I mean? That type of shit. That's that's the shit. Again, I love when people have fun with it, man. That's the best part about it. You can't take yourself too. I remember in the fucking early days, man. That's what we were all trying to be, like the heaviest, hardest cats in the fucking state. You know what I'm saying? You ain't that heavy, dude. You know what I mean? I can't even listen to metal that much anymore, dude. Like I will listen to I got on this whole deterioration kick for a long time. The songs are short. They're just little bit of intro, little bit of outro, just crazy. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. get some immolation, you know, some fucking, you know, skeletal remains. And there's like, I'll listen to 4 or 5 albums a week of heavy shit. And the rest of it's all like Black Sabbath or Zeppelin or, you know, so I'll mix in a bunch of different shit. You know what I mean? Acid Bath, Agents of Oblivion, just weird shit, a ton of rap, all kinds of shit. You know what I mean? But I can't be heavy all the time anymore. It's just something about it. It just, I don't feel it every single day of just fucking.
It's good to have some variety anyway.
Yeah.
I had like my on repeat list on my Spotify.
Sure.
It's mostly metal because I don't know. Like I said earlier, I wasn't like, I don't listen to too much of the older stuff just because that's not where I was when I started. But I have Lil Nas even on my mix.
Yeah.
Like one of his songs, Lost in the Citadel, is like probably my most repeated song that I listen to because I just love it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, and a lot of Rammstein lately, especially with their new album.
Do you go in cycles with things too? Like you'll get on a kick or like go back to an old band that you really like and hear different stuff and just listen to it for like a month straight and then put it back where it was. Go do something else.
Pretty much. Like I kind of get in these obsessive modes.
Me too, dude.
Like when I first found when Amorphous' album Queen of Time came out a few years back, I was like, I freaking love this shit.
Yeah.
And then I bought all of their albums.
Dude, I do the same shit. I'll go back through the catalog. What I like to do is when I find a good album, I'll take the one before and the one after it. You know what I mean? Just to see if they're the same players and you can kind of see that they're evolving into something, you know? Like I've got a Robin Trower albums like that. I've got some Santana albums like that just they had a specific lineup at that particular time, and you can tell that they're growing into something real cool. You know, I dig that stuff. What are some of your I wouldn't say like guilty pleasures, but you know what I mean, like stuff that people would say, oh, that's not very metal of you to listen to. What are
Meatloaf?
Well, I mean
And
that's
Celine Dion.
I am a big fan of Björk.
Björk. Oh, nice. Like Sugar Cubes Björk or like her solo stuff?
Early solo stuff.
Yeah.
I got into it back in France, and I've never really stopped listening to it.
Yeah. I've always wanted to see her in
I found myself
concert.
going back to it on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I just think she's a fantastic singer, and you know, I'm
Not hard to look at either.
no, but I just really love her stuff, her early stuff especially, and otherwise, you know.
I have a coworker that's really into the Sugar Cubes, so I get to hear that early stuff, you know, and then
I heard some Sugar Cubes before, and
Yeah.
I like that too, but her solo stuff to me, like the very first album
dude,
she
it
made,
just changed into something
it's
completely
so
different.
It's crazy, but also very polished, and her vocal abilities are just insane. And
Talk about experimental genius too, you know what I mean? Like just the way she morphs things together and the people that she's worked with through the times of her solo shit. It's changed so much, you know. It has like EDM vibes in some of it too, and then it has, you know, really crazy ballad sounds into it and just like boombastic fucking, you know.
I like that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good stuff.
My sister is the one who got me into it, and
Into Björk?
into Björk and band like Portishead or I'm sure I'm not saying it right, but Portishead, Goldfrapp. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
Nope.
It's another kind of electronic singer, and she's super famous. But,
Oh, really?
It's really not metal at all.
Yeah.
But I hope I'm not gonna vex anyone, but I would put her more into the same category as Björk.
Oh, okay.
And same thing, it's kind of weird experimental stuff.
Yeah.
But very melodic, very. I don't know to explain it. It's really great.
Yeah. I love it, man. I'm all over the place too, man. I like, friend of mine turned me on to. It sounds funny because it's Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak that Silk Sonic is what it's called, and it has such an old school funk vibe to it that I just love. I used to love my mom. I grew up on R&B and Motown and you know what I mean, like this old kind of 70s funk vibe. You know, Sly and the Family Stone, Parliament, Bootsy Collins, Funkadelic, Earth, Wind and Fire, the Commodores, that type of stuff.
Yep.
And that's all in that vibe. That whole And I think my friend showed it to me a month and a half ago, and I play it at least once a day. I may skip a couple days, but I've been going back to it just nonstop because it's like it has all trying to learn to play bass too. You know what I mean? Like this bass player is like, you know, like a lot of funk or soul bass players, they kind of follow everything. They're just kind of go. Funk is more to do. They've got it on the one. They're all over the place. But this dude is just. He's constant flow, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just being able to pull those sounds out because I'm trying to learn an instrument, I'm picking more things up, and I'm just like, oh my God, this dude is fucking insane. I was telling Paul that stuff, you know, I was like, I stumbled on this guy, and I don't even know his name, but he's amazing, you know? And then we got into the subject of the bass player from Gojira, too, when I saw him the last time, because that dude's just an absolute freak.
God.
Dude, nonstop. The dude just nonstop, man. I took a small video, and his head the whole time just fucking rocking, doing this little whip thing with his, you know, with his pick, just coming in on it, like attacking the strings as he's going. Just so cool shit, man. I love
They're one of the best bands I've probably seen live. I haven't seen them since 2008.
Yeah.
But Within Flames and All That Remains and 36 Crazy Fists.
Yeah.
But that was, they only played like 4 songs.
Dude,
at
they
that
just
time.
keep getting better.
I know. I agree. I love their new album, Fortitude.
Dude, so many people, when we were at the show, so many people in the crowd when I was talking to them were like, yeah, I just didn't really dig that album. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? All their shit is great, man. All of it is fantastic, you know? I love that band.
I do, yeah, I do too. My first song I heard from them was Heaviest Matter of the Universe.
Oh,
that
dude.
song was just like,
Yeah.
when I heard that, I was like, Jesus Christ, these guitars are just like,
Yeah.
It's so
dun, dun, dun,
they
dun,
have such a unique approach to the music,
Yeah.
and yet you know they're really, to me, they're out there. They're completely different than
Yeah.
anyone else.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. I agree, man.
They have their
They're
own approach,
fantastic.
their own sound, their own way to write music, and you know, there's a lot of bands that you know come out now, and I like other bands, but they kind of sound all the same. Or,
Yeah.
you know, more traditional.
Sure.
But Gojira, Cattle Decapitation that you mentioned earlier is the same thing to me.
I really
it was
got
a
him
complete,
They're different.
complete mind blown when I.
Yeah.
I got him into Cattle Decap, I think.
Oh yeah, it's just.
When I brought over the Anthropocene Extinction and you listened to that, I had you listen to it.
I think I listened to it in loop for like the next 3 days.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
That's how it was with the New Immolation too. It was just like I was never into that band in the back in the day, and everybody else that I knew was Incantation and Immolation. They loved those two bands, and I just didn't get them. They just didn't pop out to me. And I gave this new one a listen, and I was just like, wow. I put it on Facebook. I'm like, dude, this album is fantastic. And Jesse from Incinerate was like, dude, it's Immolation. What do you expect? And I go, it didn't grab me back in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? It was like, it wasn't the standout band for me. I know I appreciated what they were doing, but this new album really kind of gives a whole new, and I fucking missed them when they were here. God damn it.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, I started listening to the album like way more after they were gone, and I was just sitting there going, damn it, I could have seen this whole album. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, I saw them live back in 2010. I think at Station 4, they were with Niall and Abigail Williams.
That sounds about
I don't
right.
remember who was all on there. I just remember Niall and Immolation specifically. And I liked watching them there, and I thought they were pretty badass. And then when I just saw Incantation back in 2019 when they were here with Morbid Angel and Watain, that band like just blew my mind. I have never even I've never even listened to their stuff before, but I was just like, Jesus, this is like one of the most energetic shows I've ever seen.
Yeah, they're
Just
old
these
school
dudes.
cats, man.
Oh
too.
yeah, they are.
Yeah.
And yeah, man. And yeah.
Hell yeah.
That was a great show, and they won me over that night. There's only been 2 bands that I can think of that have ever won me over that quickly.
Yeah.
And it was Incantation and Unto Others. They used to be Idle Hands.
Oh, yeah, right.
But I saw them with King Diamond
Yeah.
back in 2019, and like 30 seconds in, I'm like, fuck, this band is great.
Right.
I love this guy's voice.
Yeah. I
They
love
look
that
like
shit.
the Ramones and like Peter Steele kind of almost.
Yeah.
The vibes and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Hell yeah.
And I was like, dude, this is great.
So I appreciate you guys making the trek all the way down here, man, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys get back out there and play again. And
We will.
I'm excited for you guys to start to go where you left off, man, and just keep rising from there, man.
Yeah, we'll be
That's
back.
the goal.
I appreciate you guys coming again. Like I said, man,
Thanks
thank
for
you,
having
thank you
us.
very much. Anything you guys want to say to anybody or anything like that? You guys, where that you want them to? You guys got any merch you want to hawk or anything? You got any shirts
Well,
for sale? Anything like that?
buy your album on Bandcamp.
There you go.
Yeah, the album's really all we have at this moment in time because, like I said, before the show started, we're taking it very slow.
Yeah.
Look us up on Bandcamp, Solarend.
Yeah, what is it? Like solarend.bandcamp.com
Don't forget the big D.
and the big D. Yeah.
Yep.
And then on Spotify, I think you actually get the big D in the
Nice.
in the title.
Yeah, you get it. I know you get it on iTunes for sure.
Do we?
Yep. I looked it up, and
Nice.
that's I was going, well, they purposely did that big D on the end of it, man. They just want, it's probably Zach. He just wants everybody to know that,
Yep, the big
that
D.
he's the drummer. He's got the big D in the back.
The big D is on Instagram.
8 foot
or-
dude.
Oh yeah, you can find us on Instagram too.
There you go. Instagram, Solarend Band.
Yeah,
Is
so
it official band?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
band
it's
official?
Solarend. It's Solarend. It's just one word. It's the word solar and N put together.
Okay.
So just
And then
Solarend.
Bandcamp is solarend.bandcamp.com.
Nice.
And Facebook, Solarend Band.
Show these guys some love, man. We're gonna go out on one of their the Valley. We talked about this too. Now this is, you said this is part of the
concept.
series, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is one of the 4. This is like the second of the 4.
I'll switch it to
And,
that so that they
This
don't
is
have to see
about
our
being in the
faces.
battlefield and all that kind of stuff like that. So that's what this one is.
Awesome.
So yep.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Again, thank you to everyone who joined us. Thank you to Adam D for joining us in the chat. Thank you for watching. Thank you for participating. Thank you for all the support. And I gained some subscribers on YouTube, and I thank you very much. We're at 322 right now. I appreciate you doing that and checking out all the socials. You can see all of our shows that are coming up in town. All the shows that are, I think I'm all the way out to October right now, but there are some really, really good shows. You can see all those flyers and everything. And I know they're going to send me over some of their lyric videos. So I'm going to make sure I throw those in the loop. You can go to Ritual Madness Podcast on Facebook, or you can follow me, Chilton666. That's CHILTON 666 on Facebook as well. That's my personal one. I don't care if whatever you see, I'm a family guy. I'm an open book. So enjoy what I got out there, man. There's a lot of talented musicians here in the Twin Cities. Support them. Make sure you go to Bandcamp and get the Solarend album, Subhuman Born. Give them some love, support, and when they get out to get it live and play, show them some love. That's what keeps us going and doing this type of stuff. So thank you guys again for coming in.
Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
And we're going to listen to The Valley. Listen up, take notes, mofos, and enjoy. Thank you very much. I'm not sure if I'm back next Friday or the Friday after, but make sure you're paying attention and tuning in. Again, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Peace out.
It's got some fist. Sunlight breaks through. Foreboding the soil breeze. Rain, cry of war. Sinister. Amongst our mangled crush your skull to your grave. Sit salted
this.